Welcome to Conversations with our district community. The Cedar Rapids Community School District is both rich in tradition and growing in innovation. As the administration and the Board of Education consider ways to provide greater choice for families and new and innovative educational experiences for students, the possibility of introducing magnet schools has emerged. This isn't a familiar public school structure in Iowa, so we want to learn more and invite the community to have a conversation with us. To talk with us about magnet schools, please welcome Dr. Trace Pickering, Associate Superintendent for Innovation, School Improvement, and Technology. Welcome.
Good to be here.
Well, thank you very much. And the concept of choice, first of all, that can mean a lot of things. So when we're talking about offering choice to families in the Cedar Rapids District, what exactly do we mean?
Well, you're right. Choice has wide definitions across the country and in Iowa. The research is pretty clear, however, that the more choice that you give students and parents, the better the outcomes. Yet we have a strong tradition in this community and our state for public education. And so for us in Cedar Rapids, choice means how do we provide parents as much flexibility and choice as we can within the framework of our school district.
Okay, so now we need to define magnet schools for our community. What is a magnet school and what does it generally look like?
Okay. First of all, magnet school has come up as a possibility simply because in terms of choice, the research is pretty strong, and it really redefines choice to a more granular level in terms of if parents are going to make a choice about a school, they should make a meaningful choice, a substantive one, and magnet schools provide that. What a magnet school really is, traditionally in Cedar Rapids, like in any other district in the state, students are assigned to buildings based upon their physical address. Magnet schools takes that a step further and says parents from anywhere in the district can opt to send their kids to a magnet school because the magnet school tends to have a very specific theme or intention to it related to education. So it has to meet all the same requirements, all the same learning objectives, but magnets tend to have a theme-based kind of approach. So you might have a STEM school.
As an example.
Yep, science, technology, engineering, and math. It could be a Montessori school. It could be a language immersion school. It could be a high-tech school. But that theme then is embedded throughout the curriculum of the school, and it gives parents another choice in the community. It's not meant to discredit our current great traditional schools, but to offer a different choice.
Another opportunity.
Absolutely.
What grade levels would we be looking at?
Well, you see magnet schools across the country in elementary, middle, and high school. That's really for the community to decide. We want to engage the community in this conversation to see if magnets are even something they want, and if they want it, what magnet themes fit best. Our preference initially certainly would be elementary schools, simply because their size is manageable. We're not dealing with a 1,800 student school. We're dealing with 400. And it gives parents of those young children an opportunity to get their kids engaged in a magnet school that fits those kids' passions and interests.
So the magnet school possibility, there must be some research also tied to that, to its impact on student achievement and community involvement and how the neighborhood and the community benefits?
Yes, the research, as I mentioned earlier, is pretty strong on magnet schools. Magnet schools tend to outperform charters. They also tend to outperform their public school counterparts, and they outperform their parochial and secular private school counterparts as it relates to social studies and language in particular, and some indications math as well. But we also see increased student achievement, increased student motivation, increased student retention in terms of sticking in there to graduate. We see increased motivation and morale among staff, and we see increased satisfaction and engagement involvement from parents. So those things all are important to us as we think about options for choice. We want to make sure it's a choice that has the opportunity to improve student learning outcomes and pull our community together.
Absolutely. Are we blazing a trail here? Are there other magnets in the state of Iowa or in our area?
Magnets have not really taken off in Iowa. There's been a few examples here and there, but this would be pretty new territory. There are 2.5 million students in magnet schools across the country, but very few in Iowa. Magnets tend to be most effective in urban centers, which may explain why we don't have many here in Iowa, but Cedar Rapids certainly qualifies as that kind of
So you
place.
mentioned a few examples. Are there some of those the examples that will be specifically engaging our community in a conversation around?
Yes, we've been looking at this, and some of the, and I mentioned all the good things about the research, some of the problem areas, and we need to be open
Absolutely.
and honest about that. That sometimes there's some initial community conflict and disruption, because if if a lot of parents want to come and have their child attend a magnet and we can only house so many, then we have to move to a lottery system, which means some people aren't going to get in. And the experts that we've been talking to say that takes the community a few years to adjust to. We got to be careful about resource allocation, that the magnets don't get over-resourced and at the expense of the other schools. And most importantly, if it's not a theme that the community can connect with, they don't often work as well as they should. And so we've been thinking a lot about what is it about our community that's special, unique, that is kind of our signature, and how could magnets build on that. And so we've proposed 4 possibilities. They're not the possibilities. They're just simply a place to start a conversation. 4 ideas. 1 is an entrepreneurial micro-society magnet, simply because if you look at Newbo and the resurgence of downtown, we've got lots of effort around entrepreneurialism, creativity, and the American economy is really shifting towards that entrepreneurial kind of mindset. And so a magnet school for entrepreneurial endeavors seems to fit. We have a rich art and culture group in town, and of course the Johnson School of the Arts has been that for a long time, so that would be a natural conversion to a magnet school. We have
Very
tons
much
of
so.
support from the cultural community there. A third could be a museum magnet. If you look at the rich history of Cedar Rapids,
Oh, we have so much.
we have so many museums and so many people really interested in the history of our community, as well as what is that history, how does that help inform us moving forward, and why wouldn't we engage kids in that kind of environment. And then the fourth is really probably the most obvious, is that science, technology, engineering, and math that everybody talks
STEM.
about. And as we looked at STEM, we looked at where's our strength in our community there, but also we're very cognizant of the need to keep females interested in STEM, because we lose way too many girls in science, technology, engineering, and math. And so as we looked at that, we recognized that the medical sciences, when you apply STEM to things that help people and help society, girls tend to stay involved. And so we looked at that and the strength of our medical community and said, what about a medical sciences STEM? Because Kirkwood and Mount Mercy have outstanding healthcare nursing programs. Co has a great science department. And then, of course, we have 2 really outstanding regional hospitals.
There's a great support structure for that
Absolutely.
particular endeavor, very much so. So there's a lot of reasons families might choose this for their child or their children. How would the existing school structure be impacted, be changed, as it were, if you were to take a school, and let's not say Johnson, because we have had a focus there. If we had a school that had never had this type of a focus before, how would that school be changed?
Well, let's take an example. Let's say we look at medical sciences, STEM. The first thing that we're committed to is neighborhood schools. And under no circumstances would a parent or a child who is assigned to that school be forced to leave. They could choose, just like every other parent, to attend that school, and they would have a guaranteed seat if they wanted to go there. If that theme, medical sciences, wasn't their thing, they would have the opportunity to have their child go to a different, more traditional elementary school or school. So that's an important distinction to make. But a medical sciences STEM could look at the kindergarten, first, second grade level, could look like a focus on animals, an animal clinic where you're raising snails and worms and cats and butterflies and hamsters, right? And you're using that to
In
learn
the school
to learn about
I love it.
to learn how to read and write and communicate and learn about science and history and begin to care for these animals and understand how they get nutrition and what role they play in the hierarchy of, of the animal world. And then at the older elementaries, you would see kids much more immersed and out in the community, in the hospitals and clinics, and learning about, medicines and cancer treatments, and how the blood works and what DNA is, and doing some simple but important research kind of things. If it was a middle school, high school, you would see kids very immersed, apprenticeships, fairly heavy-duty research, really looking at DNA strands and doing blood sampling and all kinds of things. But all of it would be focused upon social sciences, literacy, math, science. The kids would just use that passion and interest of medicine and medical sciences to
support those core areas.
All those core areas.
Absolutely. I think it's exciting. When's the earliest we might see one, Dr. Pickering?
Well, that's a great question. Our intention right now is in the next several months to engage our community in a conversation. We want the community to clearly understand what magnet schools are, what the pros and cons are, and find out, first of all, is that something our community wants? And if it is, then what themes make the most sense? Where's the most support? The very earliest would be fall of 14, but that would be a pretty aggressive timeline, because once all those things are established, then we have very real work of financing it, determining.
Which is a definite question.
Definite
the funding.
question. We would have to work with our Teachers Association to make sure we were fair and equitable, because we want teachers that want to be there as well as kids and parents, and that would take some time.
Getting everyone trained, and even the parental community, and get them to understand the different structure of everything. Well, this is a really big topic, and we do want to involve everybody in this. The community can share its thoughts about the magnet school possibility through our Engage CR site, which is available on our website, engagecrschools.com. You will find some information there and the opportunity to leave your comments and some questions. And Dr. Pickering, there's going to be some other opportunities for our community.
Absolutely. In addition to the Engage CR, which is where we want the central conversation to happen, we'll be hosting meetups in the community, so at coffee shops and schools, so parents, kids, teachers, community leaders can come in and learn about it. We're very happy to come in and do presentations to Rotary clubs. We might even do some tweet-ups, editorials, news stories. We're just going to try to get the word out and have conversations with our community and see where we stand with it. We'll
have information on our website. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter. And again, we'd really like to see you join us at the Engage CR School site to share your comments and thoughts about the possibility of magnet schools in the Cedar Rapids schools. We want to thank you, Dr. Pickering, for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
And thank you. Have a great day.